Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 196 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 196 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I hope you will stay for a very long time and bring several friends. And if you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. What's up? I've missed you. Thank you so much for continuing to stick with me. I couldn't do this journey without you. You know, of course, I want you to bring several friends too. And I'm just honored that you still listen. So thank you. Before we get started with this week's episode, I like to make sure that I laid the foundation properly for every episode, because it's very important to me that you realize that this space that we are creating is based in safety. And with that, I like to treat it kind of like we're creating a house. And so I want to make sure that my foundation is very strong and understood. And that means I want to make sure that you understand that the two main tenets that we use to do this is basically clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. I just want to make sure that you understand that the Well Done Life brand is a brand that I created for women because I believe that women are the foundation of society. I truly believe that we need spaces where we can be our most authentic self, where we can share, we can talk, we can laugh, we can cry, we can do all the things. And so I hope that by sharing my journey, the good and the bad of it, that you are inspired as well as also learn from my mistakes, because I'm not going to lie, I don't want y'all to do the same things that I did. I really don't. I want you to find a different path forward. So hopefully you can learn from my missteps, and hopefully you can be inspired by the things that I'm doing. And then also I like to spotlight other women in the community who are doing great things as well, because I want you to realize that all of our journeys are different, but they are all still interconnected. We are all still out here trying to be the best versions of ourselves and do good things. And so we need each other. We need each other to support. We need each other to laugh. We need each other to motivate us. And that's what this space is all about. So welcome. Along that line, that also leads me into my second foundation, which is one of my favorite foundations. I'm sure you all can say this with me because you know I'm a sucker for love. I believe in love and I love love. So it is very important to me that one of the things that I do to show love every week is that I share prayers with you. I truly believe in the power of prayer. And I really do believe that when two or more people come together in prayer, that our prayers are amplified. And so this week, I want to make sure that I am sending you prayers of peace. You know, it is definitely a divisive time, obviously going into an election season. And there's just so much going around with the news cycle, just so much going in the world, as well as with life, because, you know, life is out here doing its thing. So I hope that you are prioritizing your peace at all costs, that you are carving out time for you, because you can't be everything to everyone and you are nothing to yourself. Please make sure you take a moment for you. It is imperative. Along with that piece, I do want you to give yourself also a time of reflection. I mean, we are now into September. You guys listening to this on the first day of September, I want you to think about the fact that we are really almost into the end of the year. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like 2024 just said, hey, I'm gone. Like literally, it has gone so fast, and it's been a good year, but it's been a hectic year. Like there has just been so many things thrown at us. And for us to still be standing, we have to celebrate that. And we also have to celebrate the fact that we have an opportunity in this time to take a moment and reflect, a moment to reset, which we'll talk a little bit more about, but reflect on where we are and how much further we have to go. And I say that not to put pressure on us in reference to the remaining goals that we're trying to accomplish, but just to remind us that if you got this far, this quickly, that the rest is going to happen as well. And that whatever you have faced that has led up into this moment, that you will persevere through. If it didn't break you, that means there is still purpose in you. And so you have to be thankful. You have to let gratitude ring in your spirit right now, because where you're at is a blessing. Even when it feels like it's not really where you want to be, because let's all be honest, we have some areas of ourselves where we're like, I'm just not happy to be in this space in this particular time. But just know that it's temporary. Just know that it is temporary. And you have to believe that. You have to believe that with good seasons comes tough seasons, but all things cycle. And you will not always be in the state of mind. You will not always be in the situation. You will move forward. Give yourself the strength and the resilience and the prayers and the love and the covering to recognize that you are more than where you're at and that you will get through. So just take a moment to reflect. Like I said, we have a few more months, September, October, November, December, 4 months to the end of the year. So we have time, but we don't. So celebrate the wins, reflect on the losses briefly, and allow it to be fuel to keep you going, because you got this. It's not time to give up now. And then, kind of wrapping up my prayers this week, I just want you to have prayers of betting on you. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well as we talk about the reset and all these things. But I really want you to start praying about betting on you. And when I say betting on you, I'm talking about the things inside of you that you have been ruminating on for a while that you know that you want to accomplish. And it doesn't mean that it needs to be a grandiose goal, because not everything is grandiose. Sometimes it's the smallest things that can make us upset or nervous that we can't even accomplish those. You know, you got to start where you're at. And there is nothing wrong with where you're at, because we've all been there. But I really want you to take a chance and recognize and take a prayer, take a moment to recognize that you can bet on you. You can do the smallest thing to the grandiose thing. You can do anything that you set your mind to. And in order for you to get to the space where you feel comfortable enough to do that, you've got to take a moment to believe, to start to process within yourself that you can bet on you. And you can bet on you in the face of other people not believing in you. You can bet on you in the face of resources not being available for it to come to pass. You can bet on you when it just don't make sense to other people, but it makes sense to you. It doesn't matter, because you can bet on you. And like I said, we'll talk more about it, but we have to start speaking over our lives in the sense that we can bet on ourselves, that we can stand tall for what we want and what we believe and what we desire. And you have to, because if you don't have that type of faith about you, nobody else will have that type of faith about you. So I just want you to take a moment to reflect in the areas of your life where you may need to take a chance and start to speak life over those things. Write it down, make it plain, get very clear, but then pray about it. Then speak it and say that I can do this. I can bet on me. And it may not make sense to somebody right now, but when it comes to pass, let me show you better than I can tell you, and it will come. But you have to make the first step. And the first step of anything is betting on you. So those are my prayers for you this week. Of course, I always like to send prayers of abundance. You know, that's always going to be there. It's always in everything that I think, because I believe that in order for you to have an abundant life in any level, you have to have that innate belief. So I just definitely want to make sure I throw that out there. I don't ever want anyone to question. I want you to be abundant physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. I want you to have abundance on all levels. Speak life into yourself and all over you. And I am praying in agreement with you in regards to that. So we are here recording. I am recording actually on Saturday, August the 31st at 12:18 p.m. And I'm so honored and flabbergasted to be here, because last week at this exact same time, I was sitting out in the sculpture gardens at the Wave Lake Nona Hotel having lunch in the middle of my first event, the Reset Experience. And it was amazing. It was amazing. We won't talk about that, but I just want to definitely say it was amazing. And I also want to thank you guys for giving me grace, because yes, I had to stop podcasting for a minute because I just didn't have the energy to give. I needed to give all of my energy and time to the event, and I just needed to kind of step back. So I apologize about leaving you guys and not really kind of giving instructions about me disappearing, but literally that's what it was. I just needed to focus on the event and take that time. And so thank you guys for your grace, but I'm here and I'm back. And I'm excited, I'm renewed, I'm restored, I'm reset, and I am really glad to have this opportunity to kind of talk with you. And so, yes, like I said, last week was my inaugural event for the Reset Experience. And the Reset Experience, for those of you who may be new listening, is a one-day intimate luxe experience that I have curated for women. And it is an opportunity for you to be poured into and begin to put plans in place to create actionable change in 60 days or less in your life. So essentially what we'll do during this event is we focus on 4 main areas, and those areas are mental health, physical health, financial health, and building community. And the reason that I selected those areas because there was a season in my life, which you guys, if you've been listening for a while, you know where I kind of fell. I fell in all of those areas. And it was triggered, unfortunately, by the passing of my father unexpectedly, and literally my life changing in a matter of 3 hours. In a matter of 3 hours, I became a caregiver to my then 60-plus-year-old mother, as well as my sister. And my sister and I had already been rocking together. So life changed for both of us. And during that season, as we were trying to get to our path of where we are now, I went through it. I went through grief and anger and frustration, and it affected me, on so many different areas of my life. I mentally bottomed out. I hit rock bottom, and I literally lost everything, like almost, to the point where financially I had to file bankruptcy. Physically, I could barely walk up the steps in my house. And I didn't really have an opportunity to look at building community. I was very blessed. I had a few core people in my life, but in those years, as I was processing my new life, my new situation, my grief, I struggled with building community because I was embarrassed and frustrated by my situation. And so I self-isolated, and I lost my emotional capacity. I was emotionally unavailable for many years during that time. And one of the things, when I hit rock bottom, when I wanted to die, when I was looking for a way out, I asked God, because I was like, there is no way out. I need to be here available to take care of my family, that if you spare me, I would tell the good and the bad of my journey. I promise that I will make it my mission to make sure that people have what I needed in that moment and what I didn't have. And so that has what's led me to this season where I've had the Reset podcast, the Well Done Life podcast, for several years. We're almost 5. Can you guys believe it? Next year we'll be 5 years old. And then now taking this a step toward expanding it with the Reset experience. So yes, this was my inaugural event. And to say it was nothing short of amazing would be an understatement. I'm so blessed and honored and thankful to God how everything came to pass. I put forth many efforts, many energy. I'm sure you guys have heard other podcast episodes where I've talked about, like, literally, I had my hand in everything. I was very intentional. I prayed consecutively, consistently about everything that we've done. And I had an amazing partner, my event producer, Tita Walker, who's been on the episode of 2 or 3 before. She and I went into hunker down mode, and we put this sucker together. And yes, at one point I did delay my event because it wasn't 100% right. And that's how much I loved it. Like, it wasn't 100% right. We needed to do some reimagining, and we reimagined, and what we got was exactly what I wanted. And I'm so grateful. So that kind of reminds me of one thing, because really what I wanted to do is use this episode as an opportunity to obviously kind of recap the experience, because I'll be honest, I felt like, I didn't get it all out the way that I needed to get it all out. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. And so I want to do that, but I also want to use this as an opportunity to hopefully motivate you to do something that I learned during the process of putting the Reset together. And what I've learned in the process of putting this Reset together, and the process of all of this, is that I have to bet on myself no matter what, on my vision, on my plan, on my purpose, no matter what. And if those people, and I've got to be willing to let go of people who I thought would always be in my life because they don't align with my purpose. Because unfortunately, what will happen is, when you are so close to your purpose, when it's a plan that is ordained for you, that it is your vision, it is what you need to do, you start to see the cracks. Because everyone thinks, oh, this is so beautiful and so wonderful. It must have been so easy to put together. Absolutely not. This took hours, months, of blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm not going to pretend I'm 100% transparent about it. The week leading up to the event, I cried every day. Every single day. I cried at the event. And it wasn't because I was afraid of it not coming to pass, in the sense of, from an execution standpoint. All of my limiting beliefs, all of the doubts that I had about me, all of the imposter syndrome feelings, all of those things came up as I finally had to get to the point to release it into the atmosphere, to let the event go live. And literally, it's like I wound up having to face myself. So I'm saying that to remind you, to tell you to think about this. When you bet on yourself, you have to understand that in the process of putting your dream out here and putting your vision out here, you are going to face all of the obstacles to see if you really, really want it. You are going to have people reveal to you who you need to remove from your life, and you're going to have to make decisions. You're also going to face all of your insecurities and fears, and you're going to have to decide whether or not you're going to allow yourself to succumb to them, or you're going to go forward and produce the greatness that is inside of you. Like, you are truly going to have to bet on you. And so I hope this will be a recap and kind of a motivation, because I want you to know, if there's one thing from doing this, I want you to know that you can do it too. Like, that's the thing. Everyone always sometimes admires what other people do. I want you to realize that you can do it too. You have to take the limits off. You have to decide that this is a time where you are trying to be limitless. And so I'm hopeful that that will kind of all be resonated in this conversation that we're about to have. And just to kind of, I guess, tee it up and remind you of where I am, I'm in a season of unshakable, limitless faith. Like, that is one of my words of 2024, unshakable. And to be audacious and to step out, because that was what I wanted to do. And so putting this event together was a part of it. And one of the things that I shared, like, at the event, is that when I started the year 2024, I also, and I think I said it here on the podcast, I made the decision to go back into therapy. Not because I was having emotional challenges. Like, emotionally, I'm in a really great space. I'm very happy. But I also know that I have limiting beliefs inside of myself where I get afraid that I'm not enough, that I'm not going to be able to serve people the way that I feel like I should. You start to let the imposter syndrome and the fears and the doubts talk you out of your purpose. I'm just going to keep it real about that. That's what happens. And so I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I need to go to therapy, and I need to figure out why I want to lock some of myself away, because I need to be ready to give all of this. In order for me to get to this level, in order for me to do this event, I'm going to need to be able to give all of it. So, because I've seen how when I don't do that, it will stop me. Because I'm one of those people that have been one of those people, let me say that, because I'm not that person anymore. I would stop when the fears got me. I would sit still because I couldn't move. I was paralyzed by my weaknesses. I was paralyzed by my own self-inflicted weaknesses. It wasn't what other people thought of me. It was what I thought of me. And so I stood still. And in standing still, I would lose time. I lost time in reference to how I was planning my event. I lost time in regards to how I decided to move and do different things. I lost time. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm tired of that, because I don't have time to do that anymore. And one of the things that we discussed at the reset, actually, our opening mental health speaker, Yasmin Cheyenne, highlighted it about how typically the average life expectancy for people living is 80 years. And so we have to think about where we are right now in our lives. What does that really leave us with? I mean, I'm 51. So that means that I am operating with only a few summers left. It's a good amount, but it's like, it's kind of a reality check in regards to how I'm going to live my life, how I'm going to live those summers. And so I need to live those summers full. I need to be empty when it's all said and done. So in order for me to do that, that means I need to check those areas of myself that need help. So that's why I'm in therapy. And so one of the things about this event that I really spent a lot of time cultivating was mental health. Because in order for you to move to the next level of your life, in order for you to have financial abundance, in order for you to be physically well, in order for you to build community, mental health is like the foundation. Because if you are not well in your spirit, if you are not well in your mind and in your heart about how you feel with yourself, you are not able to go out here and be your best self. You are not able to make smart decisions when it comes to your finances, because you don't care enough about you to do the right thing for you. You're not well enough to make smart decisions as it relates to your body, because again, you don't think well enough of yourself to realize that your health is wealth. And so, and it also will limit you in regards to how you're building community, because everybody's on a different spiritual journey. Everybody has different traumas and experiences that they've had, and all of us are carrying all of these things and trying to interact with each other. And it is very easy to run up against people who are still dealing with their stuff and take offense. And it becomes a point in time where you have to deal with yourself mentally, spiritually, and so that you can operate in a season of life where you are not taking offense at every little thing, because it's not always everybody. If you are seeing cycles being repeated, it's you. And let me say that again. If you are experiencing a cycle where you see like you're in this season of always being offended, it's not always everybody. It's you. And so you have to get deep and be willing to do the work and decide that you are going to try to figure out why you're always so darn offended, what you're so sensitive about. Why are you giving so much energy to things that don't concern you, to people that don't concern you? I mean, you got to get real with yourself. And so I was like, if I'm going to pour into other women, I definitely have to get real with me. And I have had to face the good and the bad of myself quite often. And it has definitely, I think, helped put me in this place where it's now like, wow, I'm ready. And I'm grateful. And so that is where we got to this event. So yeah, having this opportunity to, pour into other women mentally, to talk about some of the challenges that we face as women, normally oldest daughters and caregivers and wives and mothers and single women, like, it was beautiful to see everyone connect and relate on so many levels, because life changes fast and any one of us can interchange into these areas so quickly. And so you have to be able to create space where you can meet a variety of women and get a chance to glean from their stories and be able to hear other people give insight that they've utilized so that you can pour it into yourself. And that's what I want, because it's not about anybody cramming a whole bunch of experts down your mouth. That's not it. It's about hearing from real people who have had real experiences and overcome them, who are struggling in them, who are willing and able to share their thoughts and energy with you, so that maybe we can all glean positivity together. Maybe we can all glean a path forward together. Maybe we all might need to cry together, laugh together, smile together. That's what I wanted to create. And I am so grateful to God that in this time, we were able to create that. So yes, it is very important. And so for me, like I said, mental health has been a really big thing for me, because as I've done this journey, like I said, I learned that there were people who I thought were going to be able to rock with me on the journey. They couldn't. And I had to make decisions, and I had to make adjustments based upon what was good for my purpose versus what was good for their feelings. And I was never disrespectful, because I don't believe in operating in a season of offense. It's not personal, it's business. But it definitely it revealed a lot of things. And I could have let these situations deter me from moving forward, but I didn't. I pressed forward, and I recognized that how someone feels about my purpose, how somebody feels about my vision, what they think does not matter. What I think and what I know is right, what God told me is what matters. And so I chose the purpose over the feelings. And I'm so grateful. So I wanted to make sure I spotlight that too, because it is very important that as you are on this journey, as you are bringing your vision to life, as you are learning how to step into the fullness of yourself and totally resetting, you have to be willing to recognize that sometimes you're going to have to put the purpose over the person. You're going to have to make a choice where you are not looking for validation in other people to make you feel good. I mean, of course, you always want your friends and your family to be supportive, but I'm sorry, some people don't have the capacity to do it. Some people don't have the capacity or the skill or the strength to be what you need them to be in that moment. Some people just come to serve a purpose, and you have to be okay with it. And it's not a judgment. It's just an acknowledgement, because again, you know where you are from. And so I want you to take this as a reminder of when you are taking this moment to reset, recharge, revitalize your mind, that you never forget the purpose from within. because the purpose is what keeps you. That's the thing. Because don't get me wrong, those things do hurt. Like, I'm not going to pretend. I spent a lot of time talking to my therapist about some of the things that I was encountering and how I was trying to move through it and navigate it. And a lot of it was really an opportunity for me to see the growth in the work that I was doing in regards to my commitment to move forward with my purpose, because I know what was God would want for me. And also just a way of not operating an offense, making sure that I'm being respectful as I'm moving through. And I wish everyone well. It's just our season has come to an end, and that's okay. And I still respect your contributions, but I'm moving on because I know that what I need to accomplish right now is the most important thing. And so I wanted to share that because, again, like I said, mental health is such a foundational piece. And it is something that I think as women, we talk about it more than really anybody, which is amazing. But I think maybe sometimes, we get a little bit veiled about how we want to communicate it because we want to be respectful and we want to shield our privacy and all those things, which are fine. I'm not giving names or anything like that because none of that matters. I'm just giving experience. But at the same time, I'm just going to keep it a buck because I don't want you to think that a part of birthing the vision and bringing it out doesn't mean that you're going to not have offenses come against you. Oh yeah, you're going to get tried left and right. But you have to recognize that your purpose is greater than that person and that your commitment to moving forward is greater. And so if you keep that energy, great things will come. So yes, I'm very honored. So we spent a lot of time on that. Actually, the first half of our retreat or our reset was devoted to mental health with our opening speaker, Yasmin Cheyenne. And then also after that, we had a great interactive panel with Demetria Hill Sloan of Vantage Point Coaching, Orinthia DeCarish, who is my therapist, as well as Dr. Zara Lefkowitz, who is the owner of Compass Collective. She was doing double duty because she and Yasmin had a prior connection through Yasmin's first book, The Sugar Jar. And so this time we were talking about that, as well as we were talking a little bit about her new book, Wisdom of the Path. And I'm so honored that all of my guests were able to get a copy of the book. So I hope that they are reading it. I'm ready to actually start pouring in now that I'm kind of past the event a little bit more itself in regards to executing deployment. I feel like I have a time now to sit down and read it. So I'm very excited. And if you have not read Wisdom of the Path, I would totally recommend it. It actually is the August book club selection for Compass Collective. So I'm going to put Compass Collective's link in the bio too, because Zara has amazing meetups as well as virtual book clubs. So definitely a great opportunity. And she is such a beautiful light of wisdom and knowledge. And so we had a great conversation. And then after that, we kind of parlayed into like a nice little leisurely lunch in the garden, which was awesome. I've never had such good food in my life. And just to be outside, even though I do melt as chocolate, as one of my guests mentioned to me, it was nice to be out in the sun and just to see the ladies feel beautiful. It was awesome. And then we came back in and dived right into physical health, which I know has just got to be crazy. Because again, mentally, when you deal with yourself, foundationally, that leads you right into being able to have a good physical health. And we had a really great conversation. I stacked that session. That session had Dr. Larissa Ferdinand, who is board certified specialist in regards to women's health. So we talked about perimenopause, menopause, all of that, because girl, I'm 51 and the struggle is so real. We also had Dr. Jardine Hill. She is board certified in obesity medicine, and she's amazing. We talked about all those weight loss drugs. Yes, some GL1Ps, everything, get your life. There's lots of questions around that. And then also we had, rounding out our panel, we had my chiropractor, Dr. Pari Limbacha of Shant Wellness here in Orlando or Apopka, Florida. She's amazing. I have been going strong with Dr. Pari for quite a long time. I'm sure you guys saw, I had a previous episode with her, and she is amazing. She got me back. Like literally, I will never get rid of her because I go and get acupuncture every 2 weeks. So I use it as a complement to my other health regimen. So I wanted to talk about the use of alternative medicine. And we also wanted to give women empowerment in regards to how to advocate for your health, because you have to. You have to advocate for your health with doctors. And then as a facilitator, moderator of the session was Melanie Sinclair. She is a renowned gymnast and the owner of MS Fitness. And she actually even also had us go through a little exercise, which was great. She was the moderator for the event. And health is wealth. Like for that, I mean, like we really need to think about that. Health is wealth. And we don't talk enough about that in the real standpoint. And so like many of us got up there and talked about how, you know, these physicians have brought us back. Like I was very honest. Dr. Pari brought me back. She was the one. I had a ACL, PCL reconstruction and a meniscus repair. And it was totally diagnosed from Dr. Pari. Like, don't follow me. But for a while, Dr. Pari was my primary care physician. I didn't even go to a primary care physician. She was that person because I just had kind of built a rapport with her. And so she was treating me through acupuncture. And she still treats me now. Like I sometimes have, it's not frozen shoulder, but I have like bursitis in my shoulder. And I think it's a symptom of menopause. I was doing some research and I've heard that that can happen. So she treats me with acupuncture with it. And it has been a godsend. And then my event producer, Tita, told everyone about how her weight loss journey is with Dr. Hill and how she is using GL1Ps. Because again, you know, I think we all see people on TikTok and everything. And we know people on the low who might be using it, but sometimes you just need that space where you can have honest conversation and talk about it. And I was just so honored to have women just be honest about the struggles that they are having from a health perspective and have a safe place to talk about it. Because again, when you are mentally well, you are more inclined to take more intention with yourself physically. And that's why the correlation is there. It's so important to prioritize your health because we're out here trying to do all the things. You can't do all the things when you're sick. You can't do all the things when you don't feel your best. So it's time for you to invest in you. And I'll be honest, one doctor doesn't always cut it. I'm not going to pretend. They don't. And I hate to say it, as you get older, I feel like you just need a team. You need to have a health team. I have a health team from the dentist all the way down. I have a health team because I'm trying to stay around, and we have to be willing to invest in ourselves physically like that. So that was a really great session. And then we rolled right into money because let's all keep it real. If your mind's not right and your body's not right, you cannot make any money. And so going into money, that was Leslie Batson, the owner of Rebel Rock Wealth. And she gave us a really great panel talking about money and how we have to be careful as women because we are now caregivers, we are mothers, we are career women, we're doing all the things, and how one thing can come into our life and wipe us out financially. And literally when she said that, like I stood still because I was like, you know what? She's 100% right. And what are we doing to prepare for that? Are we possibly maybe spending money in the right ways? Like she talked about, you know, if you have a lot of debt, why are you investing in a 401k? You might need to stop your 401k for a while. I know that sounds so controversial, and pay off your debt because that debt is going to get eaten up by 401k. That debt can send you into collections. That debt can put you into bankruptcy. Like, let me put the hand up about that. Like, you know, having somebody actually break it down and be that real and upfront with you about it, that's rare. And so we had a great time talking through, and she made it fun and interactive, even though money is never always a fun conversation to talk about, but it should be, because I want to normalize women having conversations about money without us walking around in fear. Because one thing that I've learned from my own money challenges is that I had to really readjust how I look at money, in the sense that it's not just that I'm working to pay bills and make money to pay bills, but that I attract money, that I attract abundance, that yes, I'm obviously going to pay bills and do all those things, but I don't want to have a mindset of lack. I want to have a mindset of more. And when I shifted my mindset toward having that more, I found that I attract money more. I don't feel as controlled by money. Like it definitely still pops up every once in a while. So I'm not going to act like I'm 100% cured and healed of it. But I have to remind myself that I'm going to make it back. If I spend it, I'm going to make it back. If I deserve nice things, I can have all the things that I want because I attract money and I'm abundant. And so it's very important that you shift your focus and perspective about it. You have to learn how to make money work for you. And that can happen in many different ways. It can be saving for your trips. It can be paying off debt a little bit smarter, a little bit more effectively so that you don't feel it mounting up. There's just lots of different techniques. So we talked a little bit about that. And so I hope that as you're hearing this, you'll think about, your relationship with money and how you feel about it and what are you doing, and start speaking life to yourself that you are wealthy, you are abundant, you attract money in everything that you do. As they say in the Bible, God will open up the windows of heaven and pour down a blessing that nothing can contain it. I mean, you have to realize that you are covered and deserve to be blessed in all that you do. You don't deserve to be in a season of lack. So stop acting like you are lacking and act like you have more than enough. Because if you act like you have more than enough, then more will come to you. Because God can't give you more if you're holding on tight to few. He wants to give you, so you have to trust it. And so it was interesting to kind of start having that. And so I'm hopeful in the future, as we continue to evolve and grow with the Reset experience, we'll talk more about money as well as money mindset, because it is very important. And then rounding it out, we had our last session, which was building community, because again, mentally, when you're feeling good, you can be more physically well, you can make money, but then you can also be open to learning from other people and be open to having conversations with people that you don't know, which is where building community is, because nobody can do this alone. So I facilitated the building community panel, and on that panel, I had Tamara Boone, who is extremely amazing philanthropic person here in the Orlando area who works with iDignity, as well as I also have Sheena Jackson, another influencer, thought leader in the area of building community. She works for Rosen Hotels, and Sheena also has her own personal business. She consults, and she's just an amazing light as well. And then rounding out the panel, I had Dr. Zara Lefkowitz. Yes, Zara did triple duty actually, with Compass Collective, and talking about how she has built community through books and how she is committed to elevating the voices of underrepresented groups in the world, in the literary world. And so we had a really good conversation around it because, like I said, when I know I was in my season, one of the things that I struggled with was building community. And we talked about the importance of being able to leverage social media and also being able to deal with ourselves, and how do you stay active and just trying to be open to meeting new people, because it's essential. It really, really is essential. Like, you cannot do this alone. And I'm very honored that I feel like one of the things that my event did was create a space where women got to actually connect with each other. And so I thought that building community would be a great way to round it out, because it is just so important to connect with somebody. And one of the things that my lovely MC did, yes, my MC, I have to talk about her. She is someone that I love dearly. Her name is Katie Pearson, and Katie and I have known each other since high school. She knew me before I knew me. And she is amazing. Her energy is great. She is an educator. She is a speaker. She is a business owner. Like, that woman cannot not do anything. Like, she can do it all. Like, she's amazing. And so she was my MC, and she had everyone like connect with each other when we first got started, and take a selfie, because, of course, taking a selfie definitely is a source of connection. And it was nice because, again, I think in that room, the way that it was set up, which is what I always believe in, the power of intimacy, because if it feels intimate, it feels safe, you can create that connection where you really can talk. And that's what I wanted. And so that's kind of like what Katie created, as well as just with her vibe altogether, because she's a vibe. Like, that queen is a vibe. So yeah, that's really like kind of like a brief summary. Of course, there are other things like amazing swag. Swag is very important to me. I am a strong believer in good swag. And so I gave everyone functional swag. Literally, like, I wanted you guys to have amazing bags. I also included a journal that I co-authored with Berlina Washington of Within Her Co. And essentially it's an empowerment journal that these ladies can use, designed specifically for our event, for the reset, to be able to help you start to look at the goals that you're going to have in those 4 areas. Because we talked about that. I want you to start thinking about what you want to do and start to hold yourself accountable. Like, literally every day is an opportunity for you to go in there and ask yourself, what did you do today toward your goal? Why didn't you do that? What are you going to do tomorrow that's differently? Because again, we all need that source of accountability. And then at the same time, I also had wellness boxes that were custom created by Katie Pearson. I told y'all she can do anything. She owns her own business called the Rose Gold Spa, and I'll make sure it's linked as well in the show notes. And it was amazing because you got to create the vibe. I mean, you got to light the candle, put the room spray on, get the elixir roller, and just feel good about you. And then I want you to color. And so I had a lovely artist. Her name is Ria Rose. She owns this beautiful art business called Phoenix Art Studios. And so I had her custom create a coloring book, because I think for us as women, especially Black women, we are not represented all the time in those spaces. And so I wanted us to see ourselves, to be able to color us and go in and out of the lines as we see fit, and just create beauty, because that's who we are on all levels. And so, yes. And then also, like I said, you get Yasmin's book and lots of other little things. So it was just a beautiful opportunity for me to create a space where women can be poured into. And of course, we danced and had a good time. I'm totally not going to tell it. Well, I am going to tell, because that's what I do. Tita and Tita, again, is my event producer. We share a love of one song. It's her favorite song. And since this was our inaugural event and we had put all of our work and effort in, it was imperative to me that we play this song at the end. And so, of course, at the end, we had to play Blow the Whistle. Yes, Blow the Whistle by Too Short is our thing. And so we had to play it. I know it doesn't go with the theme of resetting and women's empowerment and da-da-da-da. It does, because I'm not going to lie. I get a little empowerment. I get empowerment from Kirk Franklin and Mary and all that. But at the same time, I also get a little empowerment from Too Short, a little Glorilla. You know, it just depends on what I need in the moment. And we're versatile as women. So I want to make sure that we're doing it. And so, yes, created a Spotify playlist, which I'll also link to, because I want everybody, even if you weren't in the room, I wanted you to feel the vibe. So I'm going to make sure I link that as well. So yeah, the reset, it was a vibe. And so now I'm trying to come down from it and I'm figuring it out, which is great. But at the same time, I'm also preparing for 2025, because yes, this is just the beginning. And so we're very excited about seeing it. So yes, if you missed it this year, that's okay. You'll see photos and videos, because we have things that will be posted and we will be sharing as content becomes available. So I definitely hope that you will check it out next year and definitely join us, because this is my love. This is my commitment. One of the things that I didn't kind of get a chance to express, when I was there, because I was bawling when I staged to begin talking, was just, again, how committed I am to women, how much I love us and how much I believe in us, and how important it is for us to connect, especially now. If you think about it, we are on the precipice of possibly having the first female president of the United States. Like, I'm 51. So believe me, I was born back in the time when that was never an option. But to create an option where for future generations, it's not the exception, potentially, it could be the norm. That's a beautiful thing. And so I love that we have this power, that women are coming together for each other. And I want us to continue to do that, because we are the foundations. We need men, we need women, we need each other so badly. And I hope that by us doing the work, and we will just continue to evolve and grow and support and love each other. So I'm just very excited about this next season. I'm very excited about what's coming. So yes, there will be more coming. 2025 will be coming up soon. So I definitely hope that I've gotten you kind of excited, but I also hope that, again, that you take away from this that, yeah, it was an amazing event. but that you can do it, that you got to believe in you. You got to believe in you when it don't make sense to believe in you. You got to believe in you when it feels weird. You got to believe in you at all cost. I really want you to, because I want you to know that, yes, you can do this too. You can do it. Put your heart out there because we need you. And so I'm very excited to just continue along this vein of being unshakable. That is where we will be going with our content for the remainder of this year. It's about being unshakable. It's about releasing, breaking chains and doing everything, being audacious about our purpose and standing on business about us moving forward. That's what we do here at the Well Done Life, because at the end of the day, for me, for all the people who are new listening to this episode, it is very important that you understand that as I made that promise to God and I asked God to spare me and I would tell the good and the bad of the journey, the other aspect of it, why I do all this, is because at the end of the day, when it's my time to go to heaven and God is looking at the ledger of my life, I want him to open the book and say, well done, and close it. Because I lived fully. I gave it all. I left it all out there. I was empty. So all of you are a part of this for me. This is where I get my energy from, my juju, from helping other people, because I know that my purpose is to do something with this, to help people be the best versions of themselves, especially women. And I will continue to grow and evolve. There's more plans already in my head about how this purpose and vision will go. But I want you all to know foundationally, that's what it is. That's the definition of well done. That at the end of the day, when God looks at it all, he looks at it and says, well done, closes the book and moves on. So I give you all my heart, my love, my soul, my time, my energy, because I know that that's what God tasked me to do. And I want you to recognize that you can do the same and you can do so much more. And there are actually people out here who want to see you do it, who will elevate you to do it, who believe in you to do it. So you got to believe in you. It's time for you to stand on business about you. Take this moment as your reset moment to recognize that you're ready to stand on business about you, and you go out here and you do amazingly great things. So I want to thank you guys for listening today. That's it. That's the end of the episode. I will be back next week with a new episode as well. And I definitely look forward to speaking and talking with you more. I'm going to have all of my social information in the show notes, but you can follow me on Instagram at the Well Done Life Podcast, as well as Pamela Davis on there as well. On Facebook, I'm Pamela Davis. And I also do have a Well Done Life page. I don't really use it that much. Don't hate me, because, I'm still trying to come back into the book. I'm slowly creeping in. Give me a little grace. But if you want to email me, you can also email me at hello@thewelldonelife.com. And there's more to come. I definitely am going to continue to be audacious and challenge myself, especially as we are getting ready to wrap up this year and prepare for the 5th year, because the 5th year is going to be amazing. And so I'm just very excited about what we're doing, but I want to talk with you. I want to connect with you. I want to support you on your journey. I want to learn about it and see where we possibly can collaborate. I'm very open to that. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I don't gatekeep. I don't believe in that, because that's not going to help. My purpose isn't tied up to it. So let's just kind of all work together and collaborate and create amazingly beautiful things together. So I will have all this information in the show notes. I want to thank you guys again for your time. I hope you have a beautiful long weekend into Labor Day, and that you are taking care of yourselves and each other. And we will talk again soon.